Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex, and I have some updates from around the land of smiles for you today, this Tuesday, July 23rd. Discover Novotel Marina Sriracha and Kosichang with our exclusive Stay 2 Pay 1 offer. Enjoy 2 nights for the price of 1, or book 2 rooms and pay for just 1. Available Sundays to Tuesdays with breakfast included. Book now for stays until October 31st, 2024. We're going to start with our main story, which is a bit of a shocker coming out of a drunk American who has stabbed his Australian party partner to death in Thailand. Now, an American man, Randall Owen Johnson, 43, stabbed Australian Liam Michael Ross, 35, to death after a drunken argument in Ao Nang. The incident occurred around 2 a.m. on July 22nd near Noparatara Beach. The men had been drinking at a nearby restaurant and argued while returning to their hotels. Johnson stabbed Ross multiple times, leading to his death at Krabi Hospital. Police arrested Johnson at the scene and took him to Ao Nang Police Station for further investigation. So, yeah, here's the rumor mill on this one. They did not know each other, these two guys. They just sort of met each other and started having some drinks together, as one does while you're on holiday, meeting people, meeting fellow travelers. And then some argument escalated and knives came out. And all of a sudden, we've got one life ended, another life ruined. This guy is going to be on the inside of a Thai prison for probably the rest of his life as a result of this one stupid drunken interaction. So cannot be said enough. This is why I always talk about alcohol being one of the most dangerous drugs. I'm assuming this does not happen if these two men are sober. So be careful, guys, when you're out there drinking and partying, particularly in unfamiliar environments with unfamiliar people who can be unpredictable on the sauce. So a terrible story, and we'll let you know what the punishment that will be meted out for this crime. Yeah, Shano says, oh my God, poor Australian man, for sure. Elliot says, crazy American drunkard. Yeah, no excuse, right? Like, it's, you know, this is why I always get nervous in America. You never know who's armed or anything like that. And Americans are used to being armed. So, not me, all right? You're safe around me. I'm not stabby. But, yeah, this is one of those things where by having a weapon on you, you're more likely to be in this one of these terrible altercations that can end in tragedy. So when you're out drinking, I say leave the weapons at home, everybody, because you're more likely to do damage to yourself and others unjustifiably than if you were, you know, maybe getting robbed or something like that. Even if you were getting robbed and you have a knife on you and you're drunk, you're probably going to swing and a miss and then end up, you know, with severe injuries or even death yourself. So be careful. All right, yeah. Kazna says, what a way to end a holiday. Jeez, R.I.P., dude. Yeah, agreed. 35 years old, man. Too young. And 43, the other guy, too young to be ruining his life and ending up in prison as well over what I can imagine is some really dumb argument. I really can't imagine anything being worth that. All right, now on to our next story. Okay, this is a weird one. Now, there have been concerns raised over a Bangkok billboard that is offering foreign passports for sale. All right, Move Forward Party MP Wiroj raised concerns over a billboard in Bangkok's Dindang area offering foreign passports for sale, targeting Chinese nationals. The ad listed prices for passports from various countries, with claims of genuine documents and confidentiality. Wiraj warned this could attract transnational criminals to Thailand. Now, Police Major General Pantana stated the billboard wasn't illegal as it didn't offer Thai passports. The billboard, commissioned by a Singaporean company, has since been removed after causing public outcry. Well, what do you make of that? Passports for sale. Get your passports over here from wherever you want them from. That is pretty shocking and seems pretty illegal. I don't think that any of the countries whose passports are on for sale would allow that process to exist in that kind of way. Although I'm unclear. Now, it's interesting that the Thai government says, hey, they're not offering Thai passports, so everything's okay there. Also interesting, it's a Chinese billboard, so they're marketing to Chinese language speaking people. That makes sense to me because a lot of Chinese, you know, they're not allowed dual citizenship. They're not allowed to have other passports. So having this sort of shady way to get your hands on new identification Does make sense because I assume there's a big demand there. So where there is demand, there will be supply. Now, it's Singaporean-based company, man. I also often question the ethics of these companies coming out of Singapore because, they're a finance city. There's a lot of shady money and shady transactions passing through there all the time. So this does seem a little bit par for the course. But, hey, man, I don't know. It took a politician getting involved and trying to bring people into it and call attention to it for something to happen. Because even after the complaint was filed, government said, hey, it's okay to us. So it took the public outcry for there to be some backlash and some action taken on this. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Is this a viable option, just buying your passport outright from another country? That doesn't seem like that's how that process should work. All right. Let's see. It includes passport to jail, Mandalik says. Mark says, I blame their no news talking about it in Singapore politics. I mean, seems like a Thai-based story. Singapore is one of those places where information can be a little bit controlled sometimes as well. I try to call attention when I can. But, I don't know. Shady Singaporean business does shady things. Is that very newsworthy? I'm not sure. It just made its way over to the Land of Smiles, so I'm letting you guys know about it. Shano says, need a new passport and degree, right? Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of documentation available for sale for the right price, isn't it, here in the Land of Smiles? Not okay. Well, anyways, we're moving on to our next story, guys, which is bringing us into the world of Thai politics as Senate factions prepare for leadership elections. Now, the various Senate factions are preparing for the election of the Senate Speaker and deputy roles with three main groups. You have the New Breed, the Blue Group, and another independent faction. The New Breed nominated Nantana for Senate Speaker, Senator Lay for First Deputy, and Senator Ankana, for Second Deputy. They aim to improve the Senate's image and push for a constitutional rewrite. The Blue Group, with over 140 senators and allied with the Bum Jai Thai Party, is likely to see General Kring Kai and Mong Kol secure key roles. The Independence faction plans to nominate Senator Boon Song as second deputy and seeking Blue Group support. The elections will take place today, so we'll keep you posted on those results when we get those news. Now, it's very interesting. This Senate was set up basically as a means to sort of keep the Move Forward Party from taking complete control over the government and pave the way for the Pheu Thai Party to step in. Now, the Senate was originally an appointed body, all right? So it was something that they created very quickly, and the outgoing government from last year appointed all of those senator positions. Now they are moving into a more democratic structure that will lead to a little bit more infighting, a little bit more deal making that you kind of expect of a democracy with a Senate and a parliament. So I guess we'll see how these alliances form and what that's going to mean for the future of the prime ministership. And other things, like other major political positions that happen here in Thailand, will be subject to Senate approval. So, very important election and very important decision-making for who will be in these leadership positions moving forward. Anyways, sorry guys, I'm a politics nerd, so I got to keep you posted on how things are going to be playing out here in the Land of Smiles. And I do have a little bit more political news for you, as there's been a recent survey trying to get a hold on who are the most popular politicians here in Thailand, and you'll never guess. But apparently, Srettha Thavisin has been named Thailand's favorite politician. That's right, the Prime Minister himself, Srettha Thavisin, has been named Thailand's favorite politician in a recent Line Today survey conducted from July 1st to July 20th with about 21,000 participants. Now, Srettha received about 8,700 votes, which accounts for 40%, surpassing Move Forward Party advisor Pita Limcharoenrat, who garnered 7,400 votes, or about 35%. Coming in third place, Democratic leader Chalermchai Srion came in third with about 9% of the vote. Other notable mentions include MFP Sirikanya in fourth place and Public Health Minister Somsok Tepsutin in fifth. The results indicate strong public support for Srettha's current leadership. Srettha is a centrist. He is he's a centrist politician at the end of the day. We could argue that I would argue that he was probably selected for the leadership role. He came out of nowhere kind of in last year's elections, coming in as the leader of the Pheu Thai party and now the prime minister of the entire nation. I hadn't really heard too much about him leading up to the election. The news was all about Pita. Everything was all about Pita. And you can see that he still has very strong support among the Thai population. However, he's been out of the limelight a little bit because he's not actually in any leadership roles, whereas Srettha Thavisin is. Now, what do you guys think? I'm a little curious. We expats, right, we don't actually get to have too much of a say in politics here. However, we are here, and these policy decisions do affect our lives. So I think it is interesting to see that this man is the most popular, and I think it has a lot to do with his, kind of very centrist standpoint and lack of options, I guess we could also say, at the highest level as well. Curious and curious. Let's see. Core Blimey says what? A little confused. I was a little surprised by that take as well. I'm wondering who are the respondents for this survey. It's obviously, if it's like happening online, that's only going to be reaching certain demographics as well. So it's always curious how these surveys are taken. Shano says Pita will be back. I am inclined to agree. I mean, Pita is like the youngest leader in sort of Thai politics right now. He doesn't hold a seat, though. He doesn't hold a position right now, as far as I am aware. That's why we mention him as an advisor for the Move Forward Party, although he's still the spiritual leader in many ways. And, he's young. He's got a long political career ahead of him. So, we'll see how it plays out. The next election will be happening in a couple of years, so we still have some time under Srettha's leadership. We'll see. I expect, as most things in Thai politics go, centrism, moderation, compromise is generally the key, but we do have some major issues that are causing some divisions here in the Land of Smiles. We'll see how Thavisin's leadership pulls the country through. All right, now moving on to our next story. We got a couple of feel-goods here at the end. Now, the king. Everybody knows about the king here in Thailand. Well, he's donated land for a new sustainable zoo in Pathum, Thani. Now, His Majesty King Maha has donated 300 rai plot in Pathum, Thani for a new zoo to replace Bangkok's Dusit Zoo. This sustainable zoo will be 3 times larger, providing a natural environment for animals with ample green spaces. Emphasizing animal welfare, it will include a biopark where species coexist harmoniously. The zoo will feature a wetland-themed pond and educational exhibits on sustainability, inspired by King Bhumibol, opening in phases from 2025. The zoo aims to attract 1.5 to 2 million visitors annually, supporting local communities and fostering wildlife conservation. Good news, right? Like, I don't know. This is something good. Obviously, the royalty is a big thing anywhere where there's serious royalty with serious assets, right? This happens in the UK, happens anywhere where the crown still has a lot of power. It's nice to see some sense of stewardship over the society that they are reigning over. So the king donating all of this land in order for a very, I think we can all agree, a good project. I'm excited for this kind of wildlife conservation zoo. I love a good, safari ride, things like that. I've been to zoos in Asia, and oftentimes I'm a little sad by the end of my visit, but I've seen some amazing zoos lately here in Thailand that take the conservation efforts much more seriously, take the open spaces that the animals need more seriously as well, and especially with endangered species all over the place like that need help rehabilitating their population numbers. It's good to know that this effort is being supported by the Crown here in Thailand. So we'll keep you posted on that and see, how that will unfold. Anyways, Pai Jesu, multi-billionaire, property magnate. Yeah. Is that? Are we talking Srettha? Are we talking the king? Actually, there's a lot of those here in Thailand. Chuit? Knock, knock? I don't know. But anyways, poor little lonely me can only just shout at them from the outside. Good to know, though, that the king is using his powers for good in this particular case. All right, that's not the only plans for sustainability here in Thailand, as Bangkok is planning 130 new parks and doubles their tree planting goal. Now, under Governor Chadchut, Bangkok plans to add 130 new parks and double its tree planting goal to 2 million. And that's only by 2026. This initiative aims to create a 15-minute city with accessible green spaces following the success of planting 1 million trees in 2 years. The strategy involves developing smaller pocket parks in densely populated areas and engaging communities in the design process. The city has also increased the number of arborists from 1 to 15 to ensure tree health. This initiative addresses environmental issues and aims to make Bangkok more livable, especially for the expats. Who knew? You know, one of the things that us expats always complain about being here in Thailand is the pollution, right? The bustle of traffic and things like that. Lack of green spaces. Now, if you live in a big city like New York or even Chicago, you know that there's a certain amount of parks that are required per population. So this seems like Bangkok is heading down that route to try and make it more accessible for this densely populated urban area to be able to access nature. And I think that's just wonderful. So the tree planting, they smashed their expectations, heading for 1 million. So that's why they're resetting the bar to keep continuing. So 2 million more by 2026. Good news to me. I already think, like, I've lived in mega cities around Asia, and to me, I think Bangkok does a pretty good job of keeping trees planted, keeping them healthy, keeping things green. I'll tell you that the pollution, while it can be bad here in Thailand, it's certainly not as bad as it was when I lived in China. Rarely a blue sky. So hopefully with initiatives like this, we can see a lot more trees planted that could suck up all of that carbon from the millions of motorbikes and hundreds of thousands of cars that are in this city, and provide a better living environment for all of us that call Bangkok our home. Good news, I say. Now, Mandalik says, tree planting is a good initiative. Shano says, still have a lot of air pollution. Ain't that the truth? That is one of the big problems here in Thailand. Now that'll do it for our Thailand news, guys. So we're heading over to our ASEAN news. Well, I got a few interesting stories for you from the greater region. So first up, we're heading over to Indonesia as the country seeks Russian oil for the first time in years. Indonesian refiner Pertamina is seeking Russian oil for the first time in several years, adding Russian grades to its September crude tender list. Pertamina hasn't bought Russian oil since the start of the Russia-Ukraine war in 2022, despite not joining Western sanctions. The refiner requested Russian Urals oil and Sokol oil for arrival at its Cilacap refinery in mid-September. One tender closed last week and another on Monday, with results pending. Pertamina might only purchase Russian oil if it adheres to the price cap regulation, which allows Western participation if the oil is sold below $60 per barrel. Well, I had a feeling this would happen eventually, especially as the conflict drags on in Ukraine, which, at first this was supposed to be a special military operation where Russia was supposed to be in and take out the government of Ukraine and be able to establish their own powers there in a matter of weeks. Matter of days, if not weeks, was the idea. It has now been years. So Western sanctions still exist on Russian oil, so Europe is not consuming. Now, a lot of the allies of the West have adhered to those sanctions despite not signing on to them, so they weren't beholden to those sanctions legally by any international agreements. So yes, one would imagine that developing nations like Indonesia would just like access to cheaper energy, and Russia, of course, looking for anybody who will buy. Now, I don't know what this means, though, for the relationship that Indonesia will have, as this money will end up supporting the Russian war effort in Ukraine. So these decisions are not taken lightly, because lots of money is moved, and that has major implications on the conflict in Europe. So even the decisions of little old countries over here in Southeast Asia have a major impact on global events. We'll see how that plays out. Now, on to our next story. We're over to Vietnam, where a high-ranking official, we have the late Communist Party, has passed away. So Vietnam will be holding a state funeral for him. So Vietnam will hold a state funeral for Nguyen Phu Thong, Wen Putrong, the late Communist Party leader, on July 26th, with 2 days of national mourning on July 25th and 26th. Trong, who died at 80, led Vietnam for 13 years, promoting economic growth, anti-corruption measures, and a pragmatic foreign policy. During the mourning period, public entertainment will be suspended, and flags will be at half-mast. President To Lam has temporarily assumed Trong's duties. Foreign leaders, including U.S. President Biden, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and Russian President Putin, have expressed their condolences. And I think that the list of names that I just said is a testament to this man's political maneuverability. Vietnam has been a hub of manufacturing, and its economic growth has been one to seriously highlight and mention for developing nations. Many could argue it's similar to China's path, just on a more microcosmic scale. But in terms of their diplomacy, I would argue that Trang has been much more flexible, maneuverable, and been able to maintain these relationships with all of these different geopolitical rivals and maintain their own sort of neutrality. So not unlike Thailand, their neighbor, this has all been under his leadership over the past 13 years. And I think that there's something to be said for that, right? In a world where conflict is so easy to get into, it seems, to be able to maneuver the pitfalls of geopolitics in such a way to develop your nation, maintain those international ties, is commendable. So rest in peace to Trong. I don't want to wish any ill will. Of course, this is still a system that doesn't have a lot of democratic influences. These guys are sort of running the country without a lot of oversight. So it's hard to know exactly what could be done better. At the same time, I think when people are seeing their lives improve day to day, there's jobs, there's food on the table, it's hard to argue with those results. So rest in peace. Now we'll see how this power play will happen. The sitting president now controls the party. This one man is basically running the whole show now. So it'll be interesting to see how To Lam, the new leader of the party, who has assumed these roles temporarily, will handle his newfound positions. We'll see. Amanda Lick making a good point. 56 watching. Only 9 likes. Guys, come on. Hit me with the likes and subscribes. I do have one last story for you guys. Now, QZTube says things like this will only make the conflict go on longer. Talking about the Indonesian oil purchase of Russian oil. That is something that I have to agree with you on. That's the whole point of sanctions. Try to starve them out economically. Make the war too costly to continue. Yeah, this is one of those things that is a little disappointing. That's why I'm calling your attention to it. Maybe we can put some pressure on. Doubt it, but at least we know. All right, now on to our last story of the day, and some more good news. Now, China and the Philippines have reached a deal to defuse South China Sea tensions. That's right, China and the Philippines have reached a temporary agreement to ease the tensions around the Sierra Madre, a beached Filipino naval ship on the disputed Second Thomas Shoal. This deal aims to de-escalate standoffs and manage maritime differences. The Philippines has maintained a contingent on the Sierra Madre since 1999 to reinforce its territorial claims. China confirmed the arrangement but insists the ship should be removed. The Philippines rejected any requirement for prior notification to China for resupply missions and stressed it would continue asserting its maritime rights. The U.S. has pledged support, affirming its commitment to the Philippines under the Mutual Defense Treaty. Well, there you have it. We have a slight de-escalation for now between the powers that be in that particular corner of the world. China, of course, is always flexing its muscles, stretching them out. And, it's always interesting to me, what is the name of this territory? The Davis Shoal, named after some American, I'm assuming. So the American influence is obviously palpable in the Philippines, where we have many military bases there, and the Mutual Defense Treaty. So there are political arrangements for each of us as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this plays out in the South China Sea, because China is obviously flexing its muscles, trying to get a little bit more breathing room from the sort of coalition of Western allies that surround them. You got Korea, you got Japan, down to the Philippines, Australia. I can see how China feels a little, bubbled in. And that's why they put so much emphasis on their Belt and Road Initiative, creating this new Silk Road going through Central Asia, through the Middle East, and trying to find new ways to get their products to the Western markets, which are the biggest consumer markets. So, yeah. Anyways, good news there. A little bit of politics and diplomacy rather than conflict. I love it. All right, guys. Well, that'll about do it for the news today. You can always go to thetiger.com to get your news updates throughout the day. We post countless articles a day, I would say, and there's always something interesting to find. Also, I would encourage you all to go sign up for ASEAN Now. Go to ASEANNow.com, sign up, and join the conversation over there. There are millions of people, hundreds of thousands, I'm not sure what our numbers are, but people there every single day trying to, say their piece and let us know what's going on in the Land of Smiles and around the greater ASEAN region. So please do sign up and join the conversation over there. Now, that'll do it for the news today. We'll be back with you tomorrow, and let me get into the comments just to say goodbye to you guys right now.